welcome to Movie Nights with Dad. I'm Dad. And ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that in a lot of these podcasts, my son continually talks about how accomplished I am as an actor. Accomplished is a strong word because I've made no money at acting, but I'm a community theater actor, and
a very accomplished one.
Well, I appreciate that. I very much appreciate, and I'm not being self-deprecating or anything. I work at it, and it's
He's
a fun,
very talented. And you have a lot of fun doing it.
It's a fun hobby.
Yeah.
But I do think that you often let me overshadow your own talent. My son is a professional drummer. And
not professional.
Well, I would say he's a professional.
Okay.
He's a very good drummer. And he also, something that none of you know, he also is a nearly expert impersonator of many famous people. And so today...
This is a high bar you're giving me.
today, making his Movie Nights with Dad impersonating review. Sorry. Let me go back. Making his debut on Movie Nights with Dad, which could become a whole different podcast of him just doing impersonations. Here is my son, Riley Tullis, doing his impersonations of the Beatles.
Okay, let's do it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we have, watch how versatile he is. Here we have John Lennon.
Okay.
Let's try it again. Here we have John Lennon.
Hey everybody, my name's John Lennon. I'm down here. It's just like John's always kind of a bee, just buzzing around, just hello everyone.
Watch how quickly he switches.
The Beatles.
Paul McCartney.
And Paul's always a bit up here, like he's asking, John, I think we should we should put that part in the song. I think we should put this over here,
George Harrison.
Well, George was always a little more rounded, like he was talking and he was a little skeptical, and it was a little like John, but he was just kind of done with it all,
And we've saved the best for last. Speaking of drummers, here's Ringo Starr.
And Ringo was a little more dignified. He was a little back here, just kind of a chap going with it, little lad.
Riley, tell us, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him. Wasn't that fantastic? And it sounds like I'm being a little sarcastic and tongue-in-cheek, but I'm super proud of your talent. That's really, really good.
Thanks, Dad.
And, Riley's always been a little bit of a mimic. He can mimic a lot of people, some family members, which we won't go into right now, but he's
Like
always he's always done a very nice job of paying attention to people and their mannerisms and their voices, and it takes some talent to do such a thing.
I think you're diagnosing me with something right now.
No. But I just thought that was a good intro for our movie, which is
A Hard Day's Night, starring the Fab Four, the Beatles. Is that what they're called? The Fab Four?
The Fab Four.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. That's me.
That's right. Guys, welcome to Movie Nights with Dad.
Welcome.
That was our cold open that we usually do. If you're new here, I'm Riley, and that's my dad. And he, like we talked about, has an extensive theater background and is a very talented actor himself. So we review movies and we talk about them. And he talks about the acting and the theater and things like that. And we have a good time doing it.
And as you can tell, our talent is reflected in those cold openings.
Yes. So we have a little we give ourselves a little opening in this podcast to express our many talents.
Yeah, that was one of the better ones, actually.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Actually, one of the best. I think we should have cold opening awards after we do 50 of these.
I will say, actually, that'd be fun. Like our best ones. I will say
our worst.
It was a little hard to do these impersonations right now because I'm dealing with allergies and my ears are a little messed up.
He's been deathly ill.
Yeah. I've been deathly ill.
We need to start a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Since I'm always talking about getting money for this thing. Yeah.
Start a GoFundMe. But like, it's so funny because my ears are kind of like they've got fluid in them right now, and everything feels a little high pitched. So I was trying to find the right tone for each of the guys.
You did a
And
great
it was
job.
like, okay, here we go. Because
I can't imagine if you had your wits about you and actually had proper hearing. I mean,
I would just turn into John Lennon.
yeah, you could,
That's so funny. But if you are new here, Movie Nights with Dad, we talk about movies. I just want to say that we might spoil this for you. Starting spoiler warning going forward. If you don't want the movie spoiled, go watch it. But if you're new here, welcome. Come hang out with us. We're going to start talking about the movie.
And if you're a movie fan or a Beatles fan, shame on you that you haven't watched this yet. So go watch it.
Yeah,
Turn
exactly.
this off right now.
Yeah.
Go watch it and
What are
then
you
come back
doing?
to us.
Yeah, we always like to start our episodes by shaming our audiences.
Yes. Shame
so,
on you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gosh. So Hard Day's Night, starring the Beatles.
Yep.
The men I just impersonated. This came out in 1964, directed by Richard Lester.
Yep.
I forgot to talk about Musical May. This
Musical
is
May.
also the start of Musical May. We mentioned this last episode, but we're doing not necessarily musicals, but movies that some movies are musicals, you could say, and then some movies like this, which are a little different, which we've always kind of done. Like even during Christmas, we did like movies that you wouldn't really think of as Christmas movies, but still are involved with Christmas, you know?
Yep.
And so this one, it's more of like a musical comedy. It's not necessarily like a musical. And some of the movies we're doing this month, we gave you the full list last episode, so go check that out if you want to hear the whole thing. But some of the movies we're doing this month are just straight up musicals.
Right.
But then there's others like this, which aren't, little off.
Kind of, sort of.
This one's probably the most off-brand of what you would think of as a regular musical of the 5 that we're doing this month.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
But yeah, if that interests you, stick around. Go ahead and subscribe to this so you can see when our new episodes come out, and check those out whenever they come out.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
This is the place to hear.
This is the place.
Top grade impersonations.
Exactly. I'll try to do it every episode now.
Please do.
I don't think I could.
You could.
I think that's the thing with. I have a really high bar with impersonations. Like my thing is always, if you don't have it almost exact, then it's not entertaining.
Then don't do it.
Because anyone can, there's always that guy at the party who's like, guys, I can do Christopher Walken or something. And it's like, okay, everyone can do that. Or it's like, guys, I can do I can do Gollum from Lord of the Rings. And it's like, okay, dude, we get
Everybody can do it.
But it's like, if you can do, I know there's certain people out there who are impersonators, and that's their gig.
Yeah.
And it's like they are spot on, and to me that's entertaining to get someone who's spot on. But if you're not even if you're only halfway there, I don't know, what do you think? With impersonations, if you're only halfway there, it's not entertaining. You have to be on it. So I hope that was close enough for people.
I thought it was
the Beatles.
I thought it was excellent. Of course, I think everything you do is excellent.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe, you're right about impersonations, but if people think they can do them and they get a little audience and they have a little confidence about it. I mean, kids used to come into my classroom all the time and say, "Mr. Tullis, you want to hear my Harry Potter impersonation?" Well, every kid could imitate the characters from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I would listen to them with rapt attention and act like they were the greatest thing ever, but it was with kids. But
that's the thing, when an adult does it, you're like, okay, man. Come on.
So I hope I didn't fill some of these kids' heads with false,
They're walking around I can do a perfect British accent. That's so
and we
funny.
we had a staff member when I was teaching who I'm not going to go into the details, but thought that his Harry Carey impersonation, Harry Carey is a baseball announcer from way back, was just phenomenal. And he sounded like him, but a lot of people can do Harry Carey. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about people who, and we're getting off on this impersonation tangent, and we're supposed to be doing it. So sorry about that.
This whole podcast is tangents. I love it.
The Tangent Podcast. But anyway, all that being said, I thought that your impersonations of the Beatles were spot on, and they're a very good segue into this movie review, A Hard Day's Night, which now back to A Hard Day's Night.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I was fishing for compliments, so thank you. But Yeah, little background on the movie. This what the few things I took away from my research is that this was kind of shot. This was a cash grab, and everybody knew it,
Definitely.
even the people who watched it. This was shot really fast, really rushed, and it turned out amazing.
Yep.
People loved it. So
kind of an accident, happy accident.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But you want to start going into some of the background and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you're right about, I think a lot of people thought it was, kind of a throwaway cash grab movie, rock movie.
Yep.
But I think amidst all of the fast cutting, the whole handheld camera chaos, it redefined what a lot of movies look like, and basically it has the DNA of modern music videos.
Yeah.
They all kind of started here.
Yeah.
The critics immediately stuck their nose in the air when they heard about this because they were like, oh yeah, here we go, we're going to capitalize on the Beatles coming out, 64, and it's a craze, and they were ready to dismiss it, but it eventually started getting compared to really good cinema.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert, renowned critic from way back, it called it one of the best musicals ever.
Yeah.
And as I said before to you when we were talking about, when we were getting ready for the podcast, I think that this movie may have been one of the moments that the real 1960s started.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I've always looked at, and maybe other people have too, I've always looked at the decade of the 60s as being two different decades somewhat. I was born at the end, and of course I don't remember any of it or anything, but the first part of the 60s seemed like, well, like we said, a sort of a polished 1950s culture.
Yeah, like a lingering 1950s.
Right,
almost.
like ladies were wearing little black dresses with pearls, and the guys were always wearing suits wherever they went on dates and whatever, and everybody was neatly coiffed, and the guys' hairs were hairs. The hairdos were neat and clean, and everybody looked.
Sure.
Everybody in high school looked way older than they really were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bouffant hairdos, all that stuff. Dick Van Dyke, that sort of thing. Things were sort of starting to switch to a more modern feel from the 1950s, but it was still that polished. On TV, we can't have anybody. People were still sleeping in twin beds, maybe, and that sort of thing.
The Hays Code stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think that this whole frenzied, chaotic, moving around, and it's just funny to hear people talk about the Beatles and their long hair. When it was
which was controversial,
sort of more unkempt hair. But yeah, I think this was one of the real. The moments when the real 1960s started. And when you think of the decade of the 60s, a lot of people immediately think of peace signs, hippies. This is when that era shifted. Now, the Beatles were running around in their suits and ties at the time, too.
Sure.
But it didn't take long before they started their hair. They had, hair was longer, more facial hair. They started wearing their caftans and muumuus and all those big flowing,
you could say that the Beatles were a huge driving force in that change. In the 60s.
Yeah. So it basically, I think it ended up being much more than what critics and skeptics originally thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think it ended up being a really iconic experience.
Yeah.
So
I would say so too. I think when I think of the Beatles and their style and stuff, it just felt like, even you said they're wearing their suits and ties and stuff like that, but they still have their messy hair. There's still there's still the scene where John Lennon's in a bathtub and you're like, oh,
right.
Stuff like that, where it's for the 60s.
Scandalous.
That was,
right.
They always kind of tried to push the envelope, push it forward. And, even all their, they went from having long hair to they all had these weird beards and hairstyles and stuff later on.
Yeah.
Which was pushing the envelope even for them.
Definitely.
And so it's they were kind of at the forefront of a lot of this change you saw in the 60s.
Yep. Right.
But yeah. To the back to the movie and stuff. Richard Lester, the director, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it was shot in cinema verite style, which is that kind of like we talked about, inspired a lot of music videos. It's a new French new wave style of filmmaking, which is it utilizes handheld cameras, just kind of the available light. They didn't really use lighting.
Yeah.
And then real locations. Much like this podcast. No.
Yes.
But
real locations.
But and even the screenwriter Alan Owen traveled on tour with the Beatles specifically to capture like how they talk to each other, how they carry themselves, to help write their like fictionalized versions of themselves for on screen for this movie.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I wrote that it was nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
Was it? I didn't see that in my research. It was, huh?
See, anytime you say that, I'm always like, oh.
No. I'm not. No.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, yeah. You're probably right.
Well, here's the thing.
But I'm surprised that it was. You know.
Yeah. Best original screenplay, and best adapted score.
Okay.
Of course, because it's A Hard Day's Night. It's
absolutely.
literally just their music.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then Time Magazine named it one of the 100 all-time greatest films 40 years later.
Yeah.
And this has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
But
it's highly entertaining. It's highly
very much. Yeah. You go into it and you go like, okay, this is almost like if a boy band made a movie. You know, it's kind of got that like poppy cash grab feel to it. But because I don't know if it's just like these rose-colored glasses you have that you put on because it's the 60s and it's that like cool, forward, witty British humor and stuff like that. It just kind of works. There's like this magic to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any more like background stuff? Do you want to name some little fun facts you found or anything?
I've got some fun facts.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you noticed right off the bat when we were watching it, that opening chase scene.
Yes.
First of all, those weren't extras. Those were real fans that broke through security.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
And Lester, just said, "Let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling." Who fell? I think George fell.
Yeah.
That was real. That really happened.
I'm sure.
And they were all laughing, and it was all genuine. So those were real fans breaking through, running. So really, the chaos that we're seeing, that is legit Beatlemania.
Yeah.
In the beginning. So that was right there. I'm sure that what's his name? Kevin Lester, Terry Lester,
Richard Lester.
Sorry, Kevin, Terry, whatever. Richard Lester. I'm sure Richard Lester was like, man, we've got something special here because all this is working out. Along those same lines, one of the crew members got mistaken for a Beatle at that point. When he was running from the fans, he dropped the film reels and he lost an entire first day of filming.
Whoa. No way.
So yeah, that's
crazy. Yeah, it's and it's obviously like, there are some parts of the film where the chase scenes are choreographed, but I didn't know that the part in the beginning wasn't choreographed.
Yeah.
Like that was real.
It was
makes more sense because it's kind of just like a camera on a tripod, and then the Beatles are just running away from all these like screaming fans.
Right. Yeah,
like,
and it was all there.
Yeah.
And then I found this very interesting too.
Okay.
Ringo's emotional, sad solo scene that he was having in that. He was severely hungover.
Really?
For that, and so.
That's great.
There was not a lot. I guess there was some acting, but not much.
That's
because
funny.
He was
Sure
severely hungover. Shame on you, Ringo, for tying one on the night before. But anyway, I'm shaming everybody too much.
That is so funny. Yeah, we got to shame everybody. I've got some like, I don't know. These feel very corporate. All of my fun facts, but I have.
That's okay.
Because this felt such like a cash grab to me.
Yeah.
And
did it feel like a cash grab after you watched most of it?
I think I don't know, because like to me here's the thing about the Beatles that I think differentiates them from every other music group at the time, and still even from most music groups, is they were not only like, just expert, groundbreaking musicians who like literally inspired all music after them, in my opinion. They are probably the most important band to ever exist, I would say, genuinely. And not only were they just such good musicians, they were also just great performers in general. Like they were like, I'm not specifically talking about their acting, but I'm talking about just the way, like, maybe performers is not the right word, but they were just really good music personalities. That's the word I'm looking for, because they really fed into the business side of everything.
Yeah.
They fed into like their image and like all of, you know, how they presented themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they were kind of, it really reminds me of someone like Taylor Swift or something nowadays, where it's like, not only is she this really talented musician and songwriter, but she's also very in tuned with everything around the music, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, where like her performances, the storytelling she does like around her songs and things like that. That's how I would kind of, you know, and of course the Beatles inspired her too, because it's the same.
Sure.
But the reason I bring that up is because I got a lot of facts that are tuned toward that. Because like, for instance, United Artists, which is the label that the Beatles were under, they didn't greenlight this because they believed in the Beatles or they believed it would make a lot of money. They did it to kind of exploit a legal loophole, because Capitol Records had exclusive rights to the Beatles in America, but that contract didn't mention soundtracks. So United Artists Music Division asked their film division to sign the Beatles to a movie deal, which gave United Artists the rights to release the soundtrack album in the U.S. instead.
Yeah. It was all about the soundtrack for them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so they were like, it was kind of, the movie was kind of like beside the point. They really just wanted the music in there, and they didn't really expect it to be this huge, groundbreaking cinema thing. It was really just about, it was really just a long music video.
Yep.
And so I thought that was so interesting to me. Because I mean, the soundtrack hit #1 on the Billboard chart and stayed there for 14 weeks, which is the longest run of any album that year.
Yeah, sure.
That was huge. I mean, if you don't even know the Beatles, if you don't really know their music or anything, and you watch this movie, you go, "Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that."
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of sticks with you.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
Do you got any other little? I have more fun facts. I have so much about this movie.
Give me some more fun facts.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
One of the funniest things to me is they weren't part of the British Actors Union Equity, and they had to, the morning filming began, they had to show up to the shoot and fill out paperwork to be considered professional actors, which is funny to me because they're like the most famous people in the world, and they have to, because you couldn't film unless you were part of the Actors Union in England. So, or at least in the UK, I think. And so they weren't members the day before, so they had to like sign it. But it's like the Beatles. It's like walking in and being like, "I'm the president of the United States," and it's like, well, before you walk in here, you have to sign this or something. It's like what? But I wrote that Phil Collins is in this movie. Did you know that?
His scene was cut out, though, wasn't it?
No.
No?
No, Phil Collins was a child in this. He wasn't old enough.
Well, I know, but I mean, was he an extra in it?
Yeah, for the concert scene. Was it cut out? Maybe I didn't hear that part. Did you have that it was cut out?
Let me look.
Well, you got all the scripts doing over there, weren't you?
Yes,
Where's your Phil Collins
so
tidbit?
prepared.
As I slurp on my water.
Yeah, he was an extra, and the scene was cut.
Oh, never mind. He's not in this movie.
Yeah. Well, he was an extra.
Well, there's a lot of little cameos in this movie that I just saw and I didn't write down because I was like, meh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of other little tiny ones, but people can go read them online. I don't want to like, they're not as like entertaining as I thought they were as when I wrote them down. I'm a huge Beatles fan. I often tell people that Ringo taught me drums, and because
I think that's a fun fun fact.
Okay, well,
I'll talk
about that.
Tell us about it.
A lot of people. Here's my gripe. Here's what grinds your gears hour with Riley. A lot of people think Ringo is like not that good at drums, and I can always tell how seasoned of a drummer someone is by their opinion on Ringo Starr. Because if you start out being like, yeah, Ringo's really good, I'm going to learn his stuff. And then you kind of like learn a bit more about drums and you go, Ringo's not that good. I can do anything he was doing. And then you learn even more about drums and you get really advanced and you go, Ringo created an entire new style of drumming. He's so like groundbreaking in everything he does. But I usually tell people he taught me drums because like I would just listen to their songs. I loved Abbey Road. Like in high school, and I would listen to that all the time, and just like the like just that stuff is like so. And but all he's doing is, and during that song is just, dun, 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 and it's so like this is, for our audio listeners, they're going to be like, "What's happening?" It just seems so simple, but he knew how to just sit in songs and just understand what his role was and how to serve the song in the best way, which I think as a musician, especially a drummer, is huge.
It was more than just playing an instrument.
Oh my gosh, he was a musician.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Right.
But that's my little thing. I love Ringo, and I also think I watched the I think it might be on Disney Plus at this point, but they released a documentary a few years ago that was really popular, where they just kind of like recorded the Beatles like making some of their songs toward the end of their career, and it was like, it's kind of tumultuous and it's like really weird. But the thing that stands out to me is Ringo's like the biggest sweetheart in the world, and it's like they a lot of times didn't really know that they had cameras on them and stuff like that, and he, you see him like playing with Paul and Linda's child, their little girl, I forget her name, but like he's like, she hits a drum and he goes like that or whatever, and like he like jokes around with her and lets her play with him and stuff, and I don't know, he's a really sweet guy, but it's probably why he's still alive, honestly, because he's just such an easygoing person. But I love Ringo. Ringo might be my favorite if I didn't think that George's solo music was my favorite, so I don't know. I love the Beatles. But anyway,
it's nice.
Do you? What's your relationship with the Beatles, Dad? Like, how much do you know about them? How much do you?
Well, I mean, I just kind of grew up always knowing about them, knowing their music as a kid. Now, I don't think when I was growing up early on, we were all about country music back then. But I knew the Beatles songs. I think really I didn't know a whole lot about the Beatles until, I got to be a teenager.
You could argue that they have some country songs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I'm talking like we were
sure.
Conway Twitty, George Jones, the whole, we were members of a record club in my family, and we'd get,
very cool.
The latest Loretta Lynn, although we had a Cher record too. I still have it.
What's the artist Cher.
The Cher.
I thought you meant like we shared a record.
No, I mean we had other, but we mostly, my parents went to a lot of country music concerts.
Love that.
Went to the Grand Ole Opry, that sort of thing.
The best.
But yeah, the Beatles just they've just always been around. I did not really fully grasp what a big deal they were until I got older.
Sure.
Yeah. And I remember also in the early 80s there was Christian churches were doing a lot of things about hidden messages in songs and subliminal messages and backmasking. And when you turn Another One Bites the Dust backwards, it says decide to smoke marijuana. It really does. I did it. And the Beatles later music,
Satanic Panic,
up in the later 60s, there was a whole scam that Paul was dead and that they had a
that's a conspiracy theory.
Doppelganger for him. The Walrus was Paul. That little song they did, number nine. If you turn that backwards, it's supposed to have a music. Just all that backmasking. Really what the backmasking thing was supposed to do was like turn kids away from the evil rock music. But really what it did was like interest us. That we were like, wanted to know more, like that.
That's so funny.
And I always found that kind of funny that, they talk so much about, the Styx, the group Styx, that isn't that the name of a river in hell or something?
In Greek mythology.
Right.
It's just something for like middle America to be scared of.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing going on.
It's just trying to drum
up.
And of course, I don't want to, entertain the darkness or anything, but to me, I don't see how music and all of that could indoctrinate you into some kind of evil world or something.
It's a bunch of hogwash,
I
think.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous.
But anyway, the Beatles, I started looking into them a little bit more because I went along, with the youth group and that sort of thing. And I am not saying anything bad about the youth group. Had wonderful times.
Sure.
Do not make any, I'm not going to apologize for being a Christian or any of that. I'm just saying that a lot of that stuff increased the interest level for kids rather than turn them away.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just something for. I really think it was just something that people had nothing going on, and they were like, here's another. People love to be scared of stuff.
Yeah.
And people love to be freaked
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was like, it's almost like they invented something to.
Right.
Well, what it really is they invented something to prove that they were better than other people,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they went, oh, you let your kids listen to that
Oh,
Beatles
you let
music.
your kids. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
and,
and those Christians are still out there.
yeah. Oh, of course they are.
But yeah, I back to the Beatles. I my sweet Lord, hallelujah.
That's George Harrison.
And then George
That's his
Harrison,
solo stuff.
George Harrison, hallelujah. And then
Yeah.
if you keep listening, Hare Krishna.
Well, yeah, 'cause
Krishna,
he,
Krishna. So first of all, people were like, "Oh my gosh, the Beatles are turning back to God," and then they sing Hare Krishna, and stuff. So again, no
Well,
slam.
That was post the Beatles, though.
Yeah.
That was his solo stuff.
So, but and then of course, early '80s before. Well, John Lennon was shot in 1980,
Mhm.
but I remember a lot of their solo stuff from later on.
Yeah.
John Lennon he did yesterday.
That was Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. Ugh.
But it was also while the Beatles were still going on. So
Yesterday.
John Lennon wrote Imagine.
Oh, okay.
That's probably what you're
that's what
thinking
I'm
about.
thinking. I'm giving the wrong name.
You're good.
Imagine all the people.
Yeah, and of course
Um,
he has life taken from him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
Awful.
I guess I'm taking a long time to explain that the Beatles were always around, but I really didn't pay attention to them until I was
Yeah.
old enough to know what they were all about.
My fun fact I always say is the Beatles were 7 years. Like they if you ever think like, oh, I haven't done enough with my life, don't compare yourself to the Beatles. They did all of that before they were 30.
Yeah.
Because they formed in 1962 and broke up in 1967.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, 1969.
Yeah.
And that's like if the Beatles broke up like this year in 2026, that means they would have formed in 2019.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's how short
You're right.
but their existence was, really. Which
And
is
they
so
covered.
funny.
It seems like I'm not sure I'd say they reinvented themselves because they never went out of style, but
Yeah.
they covered a large variety of
Totally.
eclectic music styles.
Oh my
really.
gosh.
It was
You could-
amazing.
You could, I mean, when you really get into their backlog, that's why I think everyone should listen to the Beatles, is because they invented genres. No matter what kind of music you like, they have something for you.
Mhm.
That's what I say. Like
Right.
if you like metal music, go listen to Helter Skelter right now. That's Paul McCartney is screaming and wailing, and they got like grungy bass on there and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
but then if you like, I don't know, go listen to Rocky Raccoon. If you like country music, it's kind of a little more like twangy,
Rocky Raccoon.
like stuff
Yep.
like that.
And they did folk music and
Yeah.
strange, weird synthesizer, psychedelic stuff.
love it.
And,
I love it so
all
much.
of it.
Just all the experimentation. Just
Yeah.
I listened to an album recently from a guy. I think he's an Australian artist called Way Dynamic, and it was released in 2025. Huge Beatles influence on that album, and it's like this is like almost 80 years, 60 years later,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like that stuff still sounds good today. It's just
Yeah.
so long lasting.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
anyway,
Definitely.
yeah, I wanted to ask what you thought about the Beatles, because I was like, oh, it's been
Right.
For me as a musician, they obviously had a huge effect on me. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
What? So let's talk about like what we went on a long tangent at the beginning of this, but I think that's okay. What'd you kind of expect going into this? What surprised you, and what'd you think about it?
Well, I heard early on that the budget for this movie was $500,000, and almost off the bat, it made $8 million.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I thought I was expecting something rather low budget. Now, I already knew that the Beatles were a big deal,
Mhm.
but because it was sort of like what I thought was going to be like a rockumentary or something of that, I kind of thought it was going to be low budget, kind of cheesy. I thought maybe it would be, because I grew up watching reruns of the Monkees TV show.
Oh yeah.
I thought it would be a little cartoony. I thought there might be a little cheesy Elvis movie element there too.
Okay.
I was not expecting it to be as sharp and funny as it was. I mean,
Yeah.
I was laughing immediately.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I don't know, the movie was not plot driven like I expected.
Mhm.
It was, I guess, organized chaos is what I'd say it was.
Yeah.
But I did not. I was surprised at the sharper, edgier type, feel to it, the humor. But I think that is because the movie, like you said, they observed the all four of them,
Mhm.
and they followed them around, and they looked at their mannerisms and how they behaved, and they sort of wrote the movie around them. And so therefore a lot of that humor is genuine. John Lennon, I'm not going to go into their we'll talk about their performances, I guess,
Sure.
in a minute, but
Yeah.
he had such a natural quality, naturally funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of things in the movie you can see are improvised.
Yep.
But also it really has almost no story.
Yeah.
It doesn't really need
Sure.
one, but it's just them going to a taping of a TV show, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Pretty much.
yeah, and I just found all the little quirky stuff, like Paul's grandfather. Isn't he clean? He's rather clean. Isn't
He's very clean. Very
who's
clean
that
man.
little old man? Everybody
Yeah.
said, "Who's that little old man?" All that stuff. But yeah, I liked the fact that it was way better, way funnier, way edgier, and sharp and clever than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Good little take. I like that. I think I kind of had the same mindset. I remember watching this in high school with some friends. I think it was like during like a band thing in high
okay.
school. We all
Okay.
watched it together on a projector or something. And because it's just like it's funny and it's so wacky, and you're like, oh, this
Yeah.
is like a fun old movie.
Yeah.
But then like watching it this time and kind of analyzing it, I was like, this is actually really smart and very well done.
Well,
as a
back
movie.
then, I think you were kind of in that mode with your brother and sisters that, oh, it's black and white. I know I'm not gonna like it. Like that's kind of how
I
you
think
were
I was a little
back.
more sophisticated.
Yeah.
I think when I saw it, I was probably like 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
But
yeah.
it was it's just such a fun movie. I think that it was so smart, like as a cash grab, really. But like it was so smart from the perspective of you felt like you wanted to be friends with all these guys.
Yeah.
It really like
And it would be fun to run around with.
yeah.
them.
Well,
yeah.
it endeared you to them
Yeah.
because the whole point of the movie is like, well, we just want to play. We just want to play our instruments. We don't want to deal with all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
That was George, by the way.
Yeah.
I
knew that already. 'Cause you're such an expert improv.
And then we just want to play.
So, yeah, that's what I would say. Is it's a movie that was obviously trying to exploit Beatlemania,
Yeah.
but it endeared you to them. You kind of fall for the propaganda almost. You're like,
Right.
oh, I love these guys.
Well, and when you talk about it being a movie, it's barely a movie.
yeah, right.
It's
right.
barely a movie. There's barely any kind of story,
Yeah,
beginning, middle, and end.
but that serves it because
Yeah.
it makes it feel more real. It
Yeah.
makes you go,
Yeah.
this is how these guys actually are, even though they aren't.
Right.
Like,
And it's just funny when you consider the low budget,
Yeah.
the fact that it's barely a movie,
Mhm.
that it has non-actors in it, that it is one of the most influential films around.
Yep.
Because, and it's just like a lot of like the silent films we watched and some of these other firsts. This is the first science fiction film. This is the first this.
Yeah.
This is the first rockumentary music video. There's a whole bunch of things that started because
Yeah.
of this movie, and that's why it's so influential.
I mean, go watch any music video after this movie, and you will find influences
elements.
from this.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
totally.
Yep.
It was that influential.
Right.
Yeah. I guess we could go into like I have some questions for you before we get into like acting and
Okay.
stuff like that. But these are kind of a little bit about acting.
Okay.
So Ringo kind of gets a little moment, and I would say that he kind of gets the most character development out of the four, which is really funny to me. It's kind of like, oh, Ringo's kind of the forgotten one. He's the one in the background. He's the drummer, you know?
Yeah.
Why do you think the director gave that to Ringo and not John or Paul specifically, or even George?
Well, I think what you said earlier about Ringo's spirit, his heart, is very evident the way he is. I think that was most likely observed. And so they decided, well, we're going to give Ringo this more quiet, reflective. And he really is. Of the four of them, he seems sort of like almost like the mascot, the sad sack, the one. Well, he even says, I know I'm not going to move forward with this lady wanting me to come into this train car because I know I'm going to get. He says I'm going to be frustrated. Doesn't say frustrated. Frustrated.
Yeah, and then I wreak havoc on my drumskins, or something like that. That's so funny.
And so I think they set him up to be sort of the punching bag,
the loner type,
the poor little guy that always gets the wrong end of the stick or whatever, and but it just endears you to him a little more. And he's one of the most genuine. Well, he is the most genuine in my opinion. But so I think probably the producers, the people who put that, producers or whoever it was, put that together, saw Ringo, observed him, and said, "Let's do this. This is going to work better with him than it will with the other guys." So that's my opinion. Anyway.
That's good. Yeah, I think I agree. Like Ringo feels like you can connect with him the most. There's almost like, so John is just so funny and charismatic. There's like a distance. George feels so smart and skeptical that you feel like you can't really engage with him. And
also with George, there's almost a shyness. There's almost a
standoffish.
When I say something, you're going to listen because I don't talk much.
Yeah, But and then Paul's just almost like this like mega charismatic. Like he's like beautiful and he's like the star. Yeah. But Ringo feels the most approachable. Yeah. Ringo feels like he could be your buddy. Yeah. And so I think you kind of relate to him more because of that.
Well, because he's unique looking.
Yeah.
Paul.
They were all very unique looking people.
Yeah.
Which is so funny to me.
Right. But yeah, Paul of the four had the more handsome. Like it doesn't matter what it doesn't matter.
Boy band.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what I say because I'm handsome.
Yes.
Of
course.
But yeah, they all had a magnetism to them. Because of who they were and what they did and their talent. So
yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good answer. I want to ask you, because we usually have this segment, if you directed it, if there's one thing you could change about this movie, what would it be? Is there anything you would edit?
Did you, sorry, I'm going over my notes here.
You're good.
Yeah, so I covered that already. Did you know anything about there being a storyline with Paul in there that was cut out?
No.
Okay. I don't know too much about this.
Okay.
I shouldn't have even brought it up because I don't know enough about it to talk about it. But
go look it up, guys.
So if I directed it, I mean, there was some type of storyline that they sort of went with Paul, and then Lester felt that it didn't work, so they scrapped it. So I'm just going to say, if I directed it, I might put it back in. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
But I kind of think that maybe there was too much. Maybe they did that whole like minimal plot situation on purpose, and so therefore maybe the Paul storyline. And again, I don't know enough about it to even talk about it, but maybe there was too much of a story there, and they're like, we don't want that.
Maybe, yeah.
Then they cut it out.
Didn't feel as authentic.
If I directed it, I don't know. I mean, it would be different if they were all actors and if there was really more of a story.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd change a thing because the way that the way that it was a happy accident
Mm.
and it ended up being something really great.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd toy with it. But yeah, you might want to experiment with a few things, but
Yeah. Good take. No, yeah.
yeah.
The only thing I said I would change is I would like to see it commit more in a direction, and I think it would serve the movie the most to commit more to the wackiness.
Oh.
So like just the small moments where like they're doing that thing in the train and they're outside the window and then they're over here and then they're running alongside the train and then they're back in the train, and it just dumb little moments like that.
Yeah.
Or like when John like drains in the bathtub and then he comes back and he goes, "What are you still doing here?" Like that. Like that's really funny.
Yeah, that's funny stuff.
So I think that this film kind of goes back and forth between like utter absurdity and then like really grounded moments. And I think that if it kind of committed more to the absurdity, I think it would have been more fun.
Yeah, I think I disagree with you with the absurdity, because I think sometimes when you do too much of that stuff, it ends up not being as funny. Because little spurts of that goofiness, like in the train where they were aggravating that man.
I see what you mean.
And the little stuff about the grandfather being clean and going back and forth, and he was trying to escape and all of that. I just think that little spurts of that are funnier than if there was too much absurdity.
Maybe.
So you told me that you wanted us to disagree more in this podcast, so here we
Good
go.
job, Dad. Way to fight back. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. No, yeah, you might be right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's get on to some of the acting and stuff. So maybe if you just want to go a little bit on the four themselves, like the Beatles.
Yeah.
They weren't really like trained actors or whatever. The script is kind of like written for them based on their actual personalities. What was your take on each of them?
Yeah.
And
well, I should say I had theater training. I am by no means an accomplished actor, but we know some of the basic stuff. My favorite people to work with when we do any kind of show are the people that walk in off the street and say, "I've never done this before. I've always wanted to do it."
Yeah.
And then they get up there and they're fantastic. There was a lady who I was just in a show with who played my wife. She was so good. She had such magnetism, beautiful performance, beautiful person.
Was this which
Brighton Beach Memoirs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And shout out to Kat. And she had not done anything since high school, and she had come back and auditioned a little bit and did not get cast, and she got cast, and she's perfect for it.
Awesome.
So good. And those are my favorite kind of people that come on, and she had more natural talent than a lot of people who've had a lot of experience. So many people in theater play the same character every time. They have mannerisms they use, and they get a laugh off of some kind of grimace or some kind of stomp or some kind of movement of their body, and they do it every time. And so when you see certain actors, you're going to see the same performance almost every time. So I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm saying all this to make a point that I think when people have natural talent already, there's just something to be said for that natural talent versus people who've had training, where you find out like how to stand. Of course, the timing that you learn when you take classes and things, that's important. But then again, people who have natural talent a lot of times know timing better than people who are trained.
Sure.
So all of that being said, that none of these guys were trained actors, but John Lennon especially, very natural performer. He has sharp, spot-on timing. They said he did the most improvising with the movie, and you can tell.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, naturally charismatic. We talked about, you can tell that Paul McCartney has been directed more. He is performing more than improvising. I think that's one of the reasons that maybe this subplot that I didn't know too much about that got cut. I think probably they cut it because it seemed too acted.
Sure.
And it wasn't. It
Yeah.
was very kind of unnatural.
Yeah.
George Harrison's dry humor, because he doesn't talk much, is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
You know, like when John Lennon says, "You're a swine," and isn't he, George? And George says, "Yeah, a swine," like that. You know, that just cracked me up.
So good.
George Harrison said something about something being grotty in this film.
Quite grotty.
And the word, you know, grotty means filthy
Yeah.
and unkempt and all that. And grotty became a part of the English vernacular because of this film.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
And I was thinking
That's
back because
funny.
I've heard the word grotty. I'm a huge fan of Coronation Street. Shout out to our English listeners.
Yeah, yeah.
Huge fan
Yeah.
through YouTube.
Well,
and
Give a little synopsis of what Coronation Street is.
Coronation
People don't know.
Street is an English soap opera that's been around since 1960. It's still on the air.
Yeah.
It has gone along the lines of modern day soap operas, but back in the day, it used to be more of like a drama/comedy type. Very good writing,
Yeah.
excellent actors, hilariously funny, and then also very poignant. I was trying to think back to, you know, because I've watched as many episodes as I could get my hands on. They use the word grotty quite a bit, and I'm thinking, did I hear the word grotty used in that show before 1964? Probably not.
Yeah.
But they say grotty, you know, grotty little backstreet pub and things like that, you know, in there. But that was interesting, that the grotty word.
Yeah.
Ringo Starr, everybody always leaves him till the end. I wonder why Ringo is mentioned last.
He's the drummer.
Because he doesn't sing as much. I don't know.
Yeah. It's in the background.
He really, surprisingly, was the emotional center of the whole bunch.
Oh, yeah.
In the movie. Just, I don't know. You just really want to take care of Ringo. You want him to be okay. You want
He's your
want
buddy.
him to win, you know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the rest of them. Wilfred Bramble played Paul's very clean grandfather.
Yeah.
Just his chaotic energy and all that just kind of is a bit of a scene stealer.
Well, it's funny that like you kind of go, why is he in this movie? Because he's just like this random guy.
Well, and that
And
adds
it
to the
works.
quirkiness and the
Yeah.
fun of it, you know, like that. But
He's
and then when
He's
he
Paul's grandpa.
when he first opens his mouth, Paul's grandfather.
Grandfather, yeah.
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the little old man? Everyone said that. Hey, who's that little old man? They all say it at the same time. That's
Yeah.
great.
Very clean.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say and I know we're maybe not talking about scene stealers yet, but
go ahead.
I'd
Yeah.
put Ringo down as my scene stealer,
Me too.
just because you know, that whole solo wandering sequence. He just gives the movie unexpected depth. There's not much,
Yeah.
but the depth that it does have, it's unexpected, but Ringo does it. And it's just funny because to me, Ringo's one of the most unique, the quirkiest, the one that you think would be the most eccentric and avant-garde or whatever, but he is the emotional center of the film.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of
Well,
cool.
So I put Ringo specifically, but also the part where he's walking along with the kid, and then I don't know if you caught this, but like at the end, he's like, yeah, like the little kid's complaining about how his other three friends are sometimes like mean to him and stuff like that, and how they kind of make fun of him and stuff like that. And then he starts talking about their personalities, and you go, there's a little bit of a correlation here.
Sure.
And then when Ringo goes like, well, you want to make sure you stay with those guys. You know, they're just doing
Stick
that.
with them.
They're just doing that because they love you and stuff like that. And you go like, oh, like Ringo.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's just brilliant the way they put that all together.
And you almost are like, is this really happening? I'm getting like, I'm feeling touched by this, you know, and everything.
Yeah. It's so funny.
So,
But yeah, I thought Ringo was fantastic.
Right.
He just killed it.
Right.
So we had the same scene stealer. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What was your? Do you have any casting swap ideas?
You can't
for
do
this?
any casting swap.
No. But like I was thinking, I thought of around the Beatles. You don't have to like switch out any of these guys, but do you have any like, you know?
I don't know. I mean, you know, I was a big fan of Benny Hill back in the day. Do you know who Benny Hill is?
I've
English
heard-
comedian show, slapstick comedy show,
Okay.
sometimes inappropriate.
Okay.
He always had this little short bald man that he'd pat on the head all the time.
Okay.
And I thought it was him when I saw Paul's grandfather, and then I'm like, that's not the same guy.
Okay.
But that might be fun to swap out, or just anyone
Yeah.
like that. You know, Benny Hill you need to look at. He did. I believe Benny Hill did he did a lot of spoofs and parodies, and I think he did kind of a takeoff on the Beatles, maybe.
So that would kind of work. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that he did a lot of work with that mid-60s like dance shows and things. And there's one, I have to find it and show you because it's great, where he plays all the different characters like on an American Bandstand type show, and even the girls, which is hilarious because he was kind of a chubby guy, you know, and he'd play girls and guys dancing around.
Sure.
And it was just off to find it.
Okay.
But yeah.
So throw him in somewhere to get some, like, you know, get some of his stuff in this movie.
Some of Benny Hill's, I mean, he had a kind of his own acting troupe. I mean, it might have been fun to see some of them plugged into this movie.
You have a similar idea to where I'm going with this. So, I don't have like a straight up casting swap, but I think if you somehow infuse the Monty Python cast into this movie.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Hilarious.
Perfect. Yeah, that would be good.
Because I know, and I don't know the timeline of Monty Python and the Beatles. I think they definitely intersected later because I've seen skits with like George Harrison and like guys from Monty Python and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and with casting swaps, we always do like any actor all time. So I'm just going to infuse those two groups together.
Yeah.
I think the like quirky, random kind of like British humor of Monty Python would work so well in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they would have made this film even more legendary than it is.
Yeah.
Because it was just, it would also not only be this like cinematography thing and like just big cultural moment, it would also turn it into like a legendary comedy.
Right.
So,
and it might have been fun, like the gal who was in the train car and she was going like this to Ringo.
Yeah.
That might have been fun to put someone, which Elizabeth Taylor wouldn't have done it, but someone of that caliber.
Someone like huge, just in a little tiny part.
Huge sex symbol going like this, you know, just a cameo, which I don't know how any of them would have even responded, but someone, it might have been cool to see.
And you're like, who's that person's in this movie for 2 seconds?
Elizabeth Taylor is wanting Ringo to come in and sit with her.
Yeah, and then
you know,
he's like,
whatever.
I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, or someone like that, you know.
That's
so,
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good idea. Anything before we get into our hot takes?
I don't think so.
Our little hot take round?
I said, you know, it wouldn't. I don't think it would play well on the theater stage, which you always ask me if it would work. And
with this one, it's hard because it's such a. I've said cinematography so many times. It really is. This film has a lot to do with how it's cut and edited, and it's
agreed. Yeah.
What's your hot take? What? Give me something to get mad at. Give me something to.
Okay.
Give me something to yell at you about.
You picked A.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead.
All right. Unpopular opinion, and this may not be unpopular in this room, but I'm acting as if I'm talking against stuffy acting critics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ringo Starr is a genuinely good actor, and I think that he, not just in this movie, but I think he could have. And that's the thing. I know they've made others Beatles movies. I know he's like acted in other stuff and everything that I haven't seen. But I think from this movie, we talked about John Lennon's improvisational skills. Awesome. Talked about like and George being funny and Paul kind of performing a lot and everything. I think Ringo has this ability about him to provide like a depth on screen that you don't see with the other three guys.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of people, when you watch this movie, you go, it's just the Beatles. They're not like actors. You know, I think Ringo really could have been a good actor if he really tried to like pursue. And it's like he might have been in all these movies and I'm talking out of my butt. But like, you know, Ringo really, I thought he was great. And I think he's the one of the four that stands out in terms of acting prowess, in my opinion.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I picked overrated or underrated, and
Okay.
I, of course, can never pick one of those.
Yeah.
I said the movie is underrated as a film,
Okay.
but it's overrated as a Beatles artifact. And what I mean by that is, people like to talk about it. They talk about it like, oh, fun Beatles content, but they ignore that it basically rewrote film language, the editing, the pacing, music integration into films, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's underrated in that respect. At the same time, if you're not into the Beatles, parts of it feel slight, I guess, is
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's kind of what I chose. But
Okay.
I could probably go on and on more about both of those, underrated, overrated. But that's in a nutshell.
Say
what I
that one
feel
more
like.
time. It's overrated. Say that one more. Say your take again.
The whole thing. It's overrated. It's overrated as a Beatles artifact. Okay. And it's underrated as a film.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to disagree with you, but I think I get it. Yeah, because I'm like, as a Beatles artifact, it's like there's so much more
to them than what it shows. That's what I'm saying.
But then, like, as a film, you're right. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's more than you think.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah.
Right.
I think.
I don't think it was ever intended. I don't think they set out to say this is going to be a classic or anything. It
Yeah,
just sort of
exactly.
happened.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
probably was kind of a commentary on the Beatles' early stardom. Like it sort of happened,
yeah.
like that. I mean, they were, of course, the talent was always there, but
Mhm.
it just,
Yeah.
the stars aligned or whatever you want to say.
Right. Well, and that happens in every industry all the time, where it's like super talented people will never get noticed, and then sometimes they do, and then sometimes it just happens out perfectly. And
Mhm.
I think that's where the cultural moment that these guys were in, perfect for who they were.
Right.
And it
Right.
just worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Kind of getting some like closing stuff as we wrap up this podcast. What's like a good? We have a section called Double Feature, where we pick if you had a good like wine pairing with your cheese or something or whatever. What's a good movie that you would pair with this one that you think would work out pretty well?
I think that I would probably tell you to go ahead and watch another Beatles film.
Okay.
Which there's one called Help.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, do you know how many they made?
No,
I don't think I knew
not off the
either.
top of my head.
Yeah.
But I think Help would be a good pairing because it would show you how they evolved
Okay.
as, movie actors, if you can call
Yeah,
them
sure.
that.
Yeah.
It might also be fun to pick any of the musicals that we're watching just to show what a classic, polished musical looks like versus this chaotic modern musical.
Yeah, sure.
You might want to pair it with a movie like La La Land that's pretty recent.
Oh, okay.
That came, movie musicals went away, and this was a movie. I can't even say it. Movie musical that came back and won awards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay.
I would say I would probably be inclined to pair it with another Beatles.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know? Yeah.
That's cool.
So
I had a pick of a movie that I haven't seen, but then I had thought of one while we were discussing this that I have seen. That's kind of it seems silly at first, but then it totally makes sense. So my first pick that I picked like a while ago, while I was writing the script, is something I haven't seen called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Have you heard of that?
no.
2022. It's Nicolas Cage.
Oh boy.
Nick Cage playing a fictionalized version of himself. It's from a few years ago, 2022.
Yeah. I think I've kind of heard about
But
that.
it's I know like Pedro Pascal's in it and stuff like that, but it's just like this wacky and it's there's tons of movies like that, but that's one that came to mind. But something that I think works even better, and this is going to seem silly, but I promise it works, is the original Hannah Montana movie. See what I mean?
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? So it's this, you got Miley Cyrus, who is obviously like her own she's an actual musician, right? And then the whole Disney thing where she's like trying to like she's probably touring it like as Hannah Montana at this point, But this is a TV show I watched as a kid, I thought it was pretty good. What are you snarking at me over there for? What is this? You're judging me. So, but the movie is a fictionalized version of like her life, and they have songs that she wrote that are on her album that go through the story of like whatever's happening.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go open your bottle of wine and pair away.
Pair away. Go watch Hannah Montana. No.
No, I should not be that way
Yeah,
because
don't
I
snark at
didn't
me.
grow up watching her like you did.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I wasn't like, I love Hannah Montana or anything, but I thought the Hannah Montana show was one of those that I think a lot of guys my age were afraid to say that they were entertained by.
Sure.
Because it was supposed to be like a girl show or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like genuinely funny.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just thought of that while I was watching this, and I was like, that actually makes sense. It's like a because the Beatles were like for kids too. Like
Yeah.
people don't get that back then.
Yeah.
In 1964, if you were an adult listening to the Beatles, you would have been like okay,
Yeah.
they're like a boy
Yeah.
band. They're for
True,
girls or
true.
something. And so Hannah Montana's kind of along the same vein, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, I admire you for your
Oh.
unique take on that.
well,
That's,
thank you.
so.
I'm standing by it. I don't apologize. All right. What was your final takeaway and rating? What would you rate this out of 10?
I said that I rated it 9 out of 10 basically because
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like it accidentally became a highly influential movie.
Yeah.
It captures lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Not because it's perfect, but because it's just got an aliveness to it. Aliveness,
That's good.
Is that a word?
Yeah. No, I get what
Okay.
you mean.
Yeah.
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 I think I gave this an 8 out of 10
Oh,
because
okay.
I would this would be hard to recommend to somebody who's not a Beatles fan. That's
True.
my
True.
whole thing
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Yeah.
And the fact that like the no plot thing I think bothers me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
see how it works. I still thought it was really good. I loved it.
Mhm.
I'd watch it again with somebody, just because it's so silly and fun. It's just a
Right.
fun movie.
Right.
But and then I genuinely like the music too. I
Yep.
think the music's
Yeah,
really
the
good.
music's great.
So
Yep.
But yeah.
Definitely.
yeah. I said like I'd recommend this to like Beatles fans, even like film history buffs or
Yes.
like anyone curious about like the music industry or like just seeing the birth
Right.
of like
Right.
how modern music is and stuff.
Mhm.
It's and even like modern music media. I
Right.
would say it really
Right.
comes from this movie.
Right. Well, I think anybody who's a film student who wants to know about how modern editing got started,
Yeah, totally.
You know, of course, all film nerds need to watch it. I hate the word nerd, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Of course, music fans need to watch it. I
Yeah.
would recommend it. It's not. Don't know that I'd recommend it if you're looking for some kind of. I don't know. There's some people that want to sit down and watch a really good, meaty story, or you know, even something a little bit fantasy oriented.
Sure.
It's not
Yeah.
that, but yeah, I would recommend it.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all we got for you guys today.
Did you know though?
Oh.
Real quick, Ringo's the one that came up with the title. He did not come up with the title of the movie, but he came up with the phrase "A Hard Day's Night."
Oh.
He accidentally coined it.
Oh.
And again, this is sort of like the cut scene that I mentioned with Paul. I don't know
Yeah.
enough about it. It's something I should have researched a little bit more, but
Sure.
Ringo apparently accidentally coined the phrase "A Hard Day's Night."
Okay.
And so they use that for the movie
dig it.
title. Yeah.
Good job, Ringo.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, because it is such like it seems like such a juxtaposed phrase. You're like, oh, hard day's night. Like it's,
Right.
right. But
yeah. He's the
it
one
makes
that came
sense.
up with it. So
Everybody's had a hard day's night, you know?
it's been
working
a
like a
hard
dog.
day's night.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that last little tidbit of information.
You're welcome. I want to give Ringo a few more props.
He's our buddy. We love him. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Or listening. I guess we're on audio platforms. I think this is the first episode we're recording where we know that we're releasing on audio platforms now.
Welcome
So-
to Musical May.
Welcome. Hope you liked this. Share it around. Like, subscribe, comment. If it's your first time listening, come check out some of our other videos. We do a lot of movie reviews.
Yeah.
Release every Sunday.
Tell your friends, recommend, share.
Yeah. And just be a part of our community. Comment whatever down below. We've got an email. It's just movienightswithdad@gmail.com. If you want to like send some like ideas or anything, we always take recommendations for stuff.
We do.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dad.
Thank you.
Love you, Dad.
Love you, son.
Bye,
Bye everybody.
guys.